What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, I'm Corey with Level Up Business Mastery. And today we are going to talk about different sales methodologies, right? So, what are the different sales methodologies and where to deploy them? So, most of these today are going to be things that you're going to deploy by talking to customers and being directly in front of them. And then some of them are going to be online, so targeting clients and things like that. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about our one-time offer. It's an 8-week business growth intensive. It is 8 powerful weeks with trusted strategy advisors, myself and Robert Lyon, personalized goal setting. So before this 8 weeks even starts, we're going to get with you and set some personalized goals for your business in this 8-week session. Then each of the weeks, we're going to give you one-on-one strategy sessions with both myself and Robert. So that's 2 hours separate, one for selling, one for operations. And we're going to give that to you each and every week for 8 powerful weeks. Now, on top of that, we're going to not just rely on the expertise of myself and Robert, but we're also going to rely on the expertise of other business owners in the group. So we want to have 8 business owners in this group to do mastermind sessions once a week, and where we all join and pour into each other's cups and help each other out. So that right there is enough to say absolutely. But there's more. But wait, there's more, right? So we're going to eliminate doubt in your business by making a system of levers that you can just pull to get more clients, or to open your operations up to do more things, right? So you're going to have those levers that you can just pull and expand a little bit, right? So you'll never be in the panic zone. Even if the market is just absolutely crap, you will never be in the panic zone because you already know how to put yourself in the growth zone and how to pull yourself back into the comfort zone, right? So then we also want to generate you new revenue. We want to find those avenues and find those gaps in your system that aren't allowing you to collect money from your clients. Those clients are out there. We've just got to find those market segments that you're missing, right? So we want to generate new revenue either through new products and services that already closely relate to what you already have, or by finding those clients that you're not reaching, right? So we can do that on both levels right there. And then the 12-month membership on top of that is there for us to follow up with you. We want you to have a 12-month membership to the Level Up Inner Circle. There's going to be, when you get in there is already curriculum and things like that where you can just go in there and find stuff similar to the guides in the Level Up Business Mastery Facebook group, but a little bit more in depth. So in this group, we kind of expand on things and kind of talk about things in a general sense. We don't really dig deep, but in this group, the Inner Circle, we do. So we want to follow up with you for 12 months. And thank you, Chad Flowers, for the like. Thank you. We are going to really like hammer down some things for you and achieve some goals in eight weeks. But if it's a longer process, then we've got that 12-month membership in our system, and that allows you to meet with us, with priority and during the masterminds that we just have in there. They're going to be a lot less curriculum-based masterminds. They're going to be, hey, what's going on this month? Kind of masterminds. So, but we are going to have those masterminds when we have people in the Level Up Inner Circle. But first, we want to do this for 8 business owners and do a custom solution for each one of them. All right. So we've talked long enough about that. I've said that all week. We've got 3 days left of our one-time offer. That's it. Okay. So here in the next couple of days, we're going to provide you with a lot of value. So just keep watching. If this doesn't seem a good fit for you, then fantastic. But at the end of the day, we are doing free strategy calls. So click on the link in the description of this video and get your free strategy call. And we will help you get some action items on your books, regardless of the outcome of if you want to be in the 8-week business growth intensive or not. Okay, so let's start. All right. So we've got spin selling. Spin selling is situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. Really, what we are frameworking here is what is the understanding of the prospect's current situation. We want to understand what they are going through. We want to figure out, hey, what is the problem here? What is the solution? All of that. We should research and call these clients and have a meeting, but we want to understand what the problem is up front, right? The problem, the questions that we ask, they really push deep into what the client's problems are, right? So we want to ask those problem questions and get to the bottom of it. Implication questions probe the prospect to think about the consequences of not solving the problem. So if you're not solving the problem, and this is something that I do quite a bit, right? If you don't solve the problem, you're gonna cost yourself an additional $582,000 a year because you didn't solve that problem. Is that an acceptable rate of loss to you? I don't think that's an acceptable rate of loss for anybody, especially if we can solve the problem. If we can solve the problem for $1 million, then in year 3 you earn that 500 back, right? So why don't we solve the problem with $1 million so that in year 3 that 582,000, so you're automatically right now you start making that 582 to pay down on that 1 million, right? So instead of spending that on cost, you now get to spend that on the solution. And then the next year you get, and the first year you have $82,000 positive, right? Because the solution's $1 million. So you pay 500 for the first year and 500 for the second year. You get another 82,000 positive on this ROI for the 2 years, and then 3 years. So that's $160,000 already, 82,000. So now, what are the implications of you not solving this? In 3 years, you've just spent 582 with no hope of improving it. And guess what? 5 years from now, that's $2.5 million, 2.7 something, 2.8 something. That's a lot of money. So I go after the implication of things. I won't get into that. There's a lot of these systems that have kind of that implication thing. And that's why spin is first, because it is the best. So need payoff. So if we have that solution in place, what's the payoff, right? And I just told you that's an extra 582 every year because we solved the problem with $1 million up front this year. So in 3 years, you've made 582 plus 82 plus 82 already. And so you're almost ROI positive on this. Then the 4th year, you'd be ROI positive all day, right? Oh, excuse me. You are ROI positive in year 3, period. Because we've already paid off the system. Cool. Next, need selling, NEAT, needs, economic impact, access to authority, and timeline. So the NEAT is really the needs, rather than focus on surface level pain. This is let's go deep into what you actually need for your business. This is something that, and I mix these sales techniques all up. I'm not a really a salesy person. I just like to help people. But this is great framework to even help people, right? My dog, don't tear that up. Sorry guys, my dog's tearing up her blanket. Don't tear that up. Don't do that. You have a toy. All right. Back to need selling. Needs. Guys, just figure out what their needs are. It's easy. Economic impact. Again, this is kind of the implication. What's the problem? You have access to authority. Now, this is from the salesperson's point of view. Access to authority. Again, we go back to that that framework that we talked about with getting your ideal client avatar, right? So the client avatar that you want is that authority figure, right? You want to be talking to the authority. So neat selling adds that into the selling aspect. How much aspect or how much impact do you have in this company? Can you talk to authority? Can you not? Is there a middle person? Is there all these other things? So you want to make sure that you can talk to the CFO, CEO, whoever you need to talk to with authority to get your sale done, right? Timelines. It needs to be exciting and ready to go kind of timeline. If there's not negative consequences to missing that timeline, like say, hey, will you know by Monday? Well, I can't guarantee you that price if you don't do this, right? So, and really, like, I think that there are implications to, I mean, today's price is not tomorrow's price, right? So, or tomorrow's price is not today's price. Yeah, that one. So tomorrow's price is not today's price. That's what timeline means in the neat selling techniques, right? Easy stuff, guys. We're making some progress. Conceptual selling. So you want to reaffirm their information by confirming with questions, right? And that sounds really confusing, but the way you frame your questions in this conceptual selling principle or sales technique, sales methodology, is that you write these questions ahead of time, and so this is what's going on, and that reaffirms their information, right? So they gave you some information. Oh, so you're telling me that that's a confirmation question. Yes, this is going on. They can say, yes, confirmed. I confirm that. So that is kind of the framework of those questions. Then you need to ask new information questions. Get new information in, like what is the concept of the product or service, and what are the goals that you'd like to achieve, things like that. Attitude questions. Seek to understand and personally discover a connection between you and the client and the project. What is the driving force that would get them to act on this process? Hey, I really want to get this done. I want to start this business for elder care because my mother is getting older and she's going to need elder care. So I want to provide that to her through the form of a business, but I also want to provide that to other people, right? So I don't just want to provide for my mom. I want to provide for a lot of people's moms and dads, right? So if I'm going to start an elder care business, my heartstrings might be pulled because my mother is that age that she needs it, and we want to provide her a safe environment. I don't really trust other people for some reason, right? So you want to pull on those attitude and heartfelt questions and really figure that out, right? The second to the last thing in conceptual selling is commitment questions. So how committed to success on this project are you, kind of questions, right? So guys, I've got new toothpaste. Super tangent, right? I got new toothpaste, and It's supposed to help keep my mouth a little bit more sanitary or whatever. It's got charcoal in it. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to whiten stuff. It gives me dry mouth. I got dry mouth. So be careful if you get dry mouth because of medications you're taking or anything like that. The charcoal toothpaste is going to make you drink a lot of water. Back to commitment questions. You want to get their investment. You want to figure out, hey, I want to do this. I need this to happen. That's the answer you want, right? Maybe in like 6 months we'll mess with that. That's not the answer you want, right? So you want to get to that. How do we make them believe that their attitude, that connection to the project is so important that it has to be done now? So we get that commitment out of them, right? Basic issue questions. And then you just raise potential problems. Like what would happen if this would go wrong, right? So implication again, right? So let's push on to snap selling. Snap selling, keep it simple, be invaluable, always align, and raise priorities. It's the same thing as everything else, but we've deviated a little bit on the first one. Keep it simple. Hey, I sell this thing. That's it, right? I want to be invaluable. How do I make this invaluable? Well, we want to do things with your business that are going to enhance the value of your business so that when you decide to exit 10 years, 20 years from now, or 5 years from now, it's more valuable and you get more money from the person buying your business. Yeah. Or it's more valuable and more robust and it's on autopilot so that when your son or daughter takes over, right? It's on autopilot. They just have to go in there and make sure things are running smoothly. They manage. They're a manager. They're not a builder like you were. Don't expect them to be. And maybe they are. Maybe they are a builder. Maybe they come in and just flip it on its head and sell everything. Sell everything in Chicago. Bid on everything in Chicago. And win every bid. Now your operations have to be robust enough to handle that, right? So, we are invaluable to you, right? We always want to align. So I don't want customers that don't align with my vision and values. I don't want to intrude into someone else's values either. So we need to align. We need to figure that out. So if somebody is like, hey, for instance, this is a situation that's gone on before. The landlord wants to raise rent and they're stuck in their ways, right? Well, I don't really align with that rent, so I'm going to stick my ways. Well, at the end of the day, he's running a business or she's running a business. The landlord that's a business. I'm running a solo business as a landlord. So when that landlord says, hey, I think it's worth $1,800 for you to live in this house or $2,400 to live in this house, and you say, hey, I just think that for the neighborhood and for the house, it's just not worth that, right? It's $2,500 or $2,400. It's just not worth that. It's probably worth $1,900, but maybe not $2,400 or something like that, right? So you stick to your guns, they stick to their guns. At the end of the day, that alignment just isn't there. So if I was the tenant, I would say, hey, look, if you think you can get that, I don't want to be in your way. So you step aside and you let somebody else pay that. And you go find somewhere that fits your budget, right? Guess what? Everybody's happy. I still pay whatever as a tenant, and the landlord got their $2,400 from some poor sap, right? So always align or get out of there. Raise priorities. So raising those priorities, again, that's kind of like basic issue questions in the conceptual selling. Raise potential problems, raise priorities. What are the priorities for you? Again, timeline. Again, access to authority. Are they the authority? Are they understanding of the priority of this project? Right? That's it on snap selling. Let's talk about the challenger sale. Now, this is one of my favorite sales techniques. If you don't know, I like this one because I think that it fits my personality the best. I think I use a couple of different techniques from different places, but really I'm not a salesperson. I just like to help people, right? So I like to teach first, right? So I want to teach you about the business problem that you might be having, present new ideas and observations, right? So I want to teach you things about your business that you may not have even known. Where do you use these sales techniques, maybe? And I want to tailor that to the prospect. I want to tailor that messaging to the prospect. Right now, I'm prospecting with this teaching moment, with the sales methodology teaching moment. I am targeting business owners in the Level Up Business Mastery group for the 8-week growth intensive, right? So, without getting into that, but I'm trying to tailor my teaching method to the people that are in that group, because the people in the group are business owners, right? You could always use a brush up on your sales skills or your sales information. Let's talk about these different sales techniques. You want to tailor that to the prospect, right? So we're talking to business owners today. We're teaching you about some valuable things that you can implement in your business. And if you need further help, you can just reach out to us. The next step is take control. So you want to take control of a sale, not by being afraid to push back on the customer, focusing more on the end goal than being liked. So now you kind of switch gears. You're kind of being liked, and now you switch gears to what's the end goal here? Let's brass tacks this out. If you need that $582,000 back from your cost, you can eliminate that cost altogether. Then the brass tacks are you need me to come in and fix that problem for you. And of course, there's a longer conversation to that, but that's the brass tacks of it, right? So take control of the situation by going in and saying, guess what? This is what I think needs to happen, and I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to be slightly argumentative about, and in a good way, right? Not like I'm gonna white trash party, throw things at someone, but I want to challenge the idea that you don't need my services. Pretty simple, right? Teach, tailor, take control. The Sandler system, this is very popular. I know someone they owned a franchise of the Sandler system. I think this is another one that I use without really saying it's the Sandler system. I just have put this in my toolbox, but I want to build mutual trust with the people that I am serving, right? I am a servant. I want to serve your business. And I want to build that trust by you understanding that I know what I'm talking about, and that I, obviously have been doing this for 7 years now. It's been 7, 2016 to 2022. Yeah, so 6 years. So, sometimes I'm not good at math, but yeah, a little over 6 years. And, I know what I'm talking about. I've done this for many, many businesses. I've helped businesses put processes into place to really turn up the flow on the sales and turn up the flow on the operations to execute those contracts and make sure that the customer is taken care of. So I want to build mutual trust with you. I want you to trust me. I want to trust you before we get into anything else, right? So we want to assess in the Sandler system, we want to assess the majority of obstacles in the qualification process. So in that qualification process, before you even talk to me, one of the obstacles may be Hey, I really don't know you. Well, watch some videos. I got plenty of videos online. We've deleted some of these off the wall to clear off the wall, and we'll add them back into the guides as we get them edited. So we don't want to have this one-time offer thing up and going for the edited version. Maybe it'll be on the video or something, but we'll figure that out, right? So we want to raise and assess the majority of obstacles in the qualification process. So as you gain awareness, as you go down that funnel as a client in the Sandler system, you're going to self-eliminate. You're going to, that's not for me. I'm going to raise objections, and I'm going to cancel them with my sales rhetoric on my website, on my videos, on my whatever. So we're going to actually overcome those obstacles by teaching you new things and getting over them, right? So who's going to be in the 8-week business growth intensive? If you've been watching these videos, we are only taking 8 business owners. So we're going to be very exclusive. We've talked to many people. I've invited a couple, and we've I believe Robert's admitted a couple as well. So but we vet them pretty seriously about their business and kind of get to the bottom of things. If they've got investors, if they're ready to go, then we're ready to go. And then if the sales representative doesn't see this going any further, like they're not going to make a purchase, they don't try to pursue the sale. So it's almost like they try to frame it this way. It's almost like the prospect is selling why they need the services rather than the representative trying to sell the services to the prospect. Does that make sense? So you're convincing the seller to sell to you. That's wild. So it's a pretty cool technique. I use some of it. I don't use some of the rest. I don't really pay attention to techniques and the implications of them all or whatever. But we have a technique that we've built kind of hybrid Frankenstein-wise, and we think that works very well. Just because we teach people and then we go from there, right? So let's talk about MEDDIC with the 2 Ds. Let's see. Metrics, economic buyer, decision criteria, decision process, identify pain, and champion. So what is the economic impact of the situation? Again, this is an implication question. What kind of pain are you suffering with regard to your budget and things like that? What is actually happening? Are you able to pay for your daughter's soccer practice? There's an economic impact of the gap that you have in your business, right? We want you to be so that first thing is metrics. We want to identify and measure that, right? We want that economic buyer who controls the appropriate budget, right? So again, this is access to authority. Who controls the appropriate budget? You need to find that person. Cool. We want the decision criteria, right? What are the formal evaluation criteria the organization is using to pick a vendor? So if I go into a business and they have no criteria on how to pick a vendor, that's a great way for me to help them out, but it's probably not going to be a good fit because they're not organized at least to that extent for me to help them properly. So if they don't even have decision criteria, that's, for me, that's a no-go. That's kind of a red flag. Now, if they do have a decision criteria, what is it? And how do I fit in there? And how do I answer those questions? Kind of like an interview for a job. How do you make the decision on who gets the job? well, let me highlight, you said this, this, this. Let me highlight why I'm the best in these three categories that you just listed, right? So figure out that decision criteria and try to overcome those objections or obstacles, as well as try to get them to understand where you're coming from and how you can help. And then the decision process, how will they pick a vendor? What are the specific stages of getting to the end, right, of the sale? This one, the medic technique, I really don't use. I think that's probably a lot more for, commercial B2B sales, for equipment and things like that. This is kind of something that you need to just put into your process, but not really pay attention to as much. Decision process, and then identify pain. What are the trigger points? What are the financial consequences again, right? And then who is selling on your behalf? They have a concept of championing the business, and so you really want to be the champion for that business and support their mission and vision and values, right? Solution selling. Rather than selling specific products, we're selling solutions. So a print company, a sales representative for a print and design company might sell a whole package of logo design, business cards, stationery, and more, right? And branded envelopes and things like that. So they might sell a whole package, like a business starter pack, where we just take care of all of this, and then now you can just order this. We've got a number assigned to it, and you can say, hey, I need 100 more of these envelopes, product number 10,409. And so we've got a custom solution where now I'm set up for recurring revenue and things like that, right? It acknowledges that buyers are also today more informed than they were in the past. So when I say that, that means for like car sales, I'm going to do my research on cars. I'm going to figure out what the car is selling for. I'm going to figure out what the car's invoice price is if I'm buying a new car. And then I'm going to go in informed about, I already know that the headlights are Lexan plastic. I already know that this thing's got a 4.6 liter engine. I already know blah, 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 right? Or whatever the stats are. I already know because I looked on the website and I did my research. I looked on Google. I Googled it. I Wikipedia'd it or something. I don't know. But you've got to identify with them and say, oh, I get that. And so you have to understand their pain points. So they're informed. They know what they want. But you also have to kind of dig and figure out what their pain points are. And then you're going to offer a customized mix of the products and services. So if I go into a print shop, I already know I need envelopes, I need business cards, I need blah. So when you customize a package for me, hey, when you buy 4 or more things, you get a 20% discount on the entire order. So different products. So envelopes, business cards, the logo is a product or service. And then you also want some stationery, right? That's 4 things. You get a 20% discount. But without the stationery, I can't give you a 20% discount. So basically, you're getting, part of one of those things for free. I mean, almost a whole thing, because it's 25% each or whatever, maybe. But you're getting maybe one of those things basically for free if you get the 4 things. So you kind of mix that product offering for them and make a something that meets their needs, right? All right. We didn't even click on solution selling. That was solution selling, guys. All right. That should be the thumbnail. Me messing up. Inbound selling. All right. So inbound selling. They don't have a cool acronym or anything. They want to identify, connect, explore, advise, right? So we don't identify the active buyers. versus the passive buyers, the people that are like, maybe. And so you want to figure out what they are doing that are making them active and keep those metrics, right? So active buyers have visited the website recently, they filled out a form, they've started a live chat, whatever that active member is. This is something that we really they've reached out on Twitter. This is a concept that we really like in this business particularly, because we don't really want to mess with people that aren't active. If they're not active in the group, they're probably not going to be active when we get them into a one-on-one session or a mastermind. So if they're not active and reaching out to us and communicating, probably not a great catch for us as far as the business sales go. Connect. So the connection, you see that they're active, you figure this out. Maybe they're active on LinkedIn, maybe they're commenting on your things, maybe they're doing stuff. Then you connect. So you're going to say, hey, this is an inbound thing, right? They've reached out and they've done this stuff. You're going to connect. You're going to have a personalized meeting with them. You can do a personalized message through social media. And you can kind of just reach out and talk to them. Then you want to explore the business and the problems and things like that. So they dive deeper at this stage. They want to kind of like get to the root cause of the problems and figure out what their goals are and kind of start creating a plan to what they may need, right? So in the background, you're kind of creating that plan and saying, oh yeah, they might need that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, they said this. That means they're afraid of that. Let's kind of stay away from that. And then finally, you want to advise. So you want to say, hey, listen, this is what I've got for you. I think that we've customized this specifically for you based on what you've said, blah, blah, blah. And so there's that advisory phase, right? And so when you go through that, I'm not going to get into everything that needs to be said or done, but you're going to advise them on the best plan of action. Okay. Target account selling. So this is another one that really relies on automation and online communication and identification. So this is kind of like the advertisement to the online sales funnel to the whatever. And then finally, you might meet with a sales representative who might use one of these other techniques to sell. So it's really kind of the legwork pre-sale, and it eliminates those prospects that don't need to be in the funnel. It takes people that have urgency. Maybe you've targeted them from, they like baseball, they like the Major League Baseball or college baseball or something like that. You've targeted that audience to sell that baseball memorabilia or whatever, right? So you might want to narrow that down specifically to your ideal client avatar. Say, this person drives this car, this person is interested in these things, this person is, kind of here. And now we've got 3 million people out of the 300 million people in the United States that fit that bill. And those are the people that are getting the advertisement on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, right? So that's really the sales automation. Then once they click that, they go through an automated funnel where it weeds the people out that aren't serious. They're going to, and I'll tell you this, I think one of the techniques of these online sales funnels, and I'm not really a big online sales funnel person, we did find a new sales funnel application that we're looking into right now to kind of maybe see if that's a good fit for us or our clients. But ClickFunnels is it's a fantastic tool, but the leadership we just disagree with. It involves putting that extra legwork in at the very beginning. That's it, All right. Last two, command of the sale. So with this one, there's a there's a way to kind of be with certain people, and I believe that this is one of the ways that if you feel like your client, and I I'm sure that there's a way to do this respectfully. However, I don't like it. I do not like this sales technique at all. Um, However, it's used probably very widely, and people are successful at it. And for me personally, my personality, it just doesn't fit, right? But the concept is you act with urgency, a degree of bravado, you have extensive product knowledge, you have situational awareness that is just massive, and you're just like in there. I once got I think it was an email or a voicemail, I can't remember, but the guy said, "Hey, I noticed that you haven't signed up for a booth at the Business Expo. Um, what size of booth can I put you down for?" And it's kind of an expectation that I'm going to buy. Well, I'm not going to buy. I wasn't satisfied last time, right? I don't want a booth. I didn't get any business out of that. You had thousands of people come through. None of them were my ideal client. Just not something that I'm a B2B guy. We had a bunch of public employees that wanted free pins and koozies. That's about it. They came to the Business Expo to get free pins and koozies and other goodies. Oh, I got a flashlight with this guy's brand on it. Cool. Not my audience. So I didn't want a booth. So that really turned me off. I was like, this guy, it's kind of ridiculous. So he had that bravado of like, the sale's already done. So he jumped the gun and said, "Hey, what can I put you down for?" And I'm sure that's a nicer way of putting what he said, but it was like very demeaning. Like, I got a bad feeling about it. I got some anxiety about it. Didn't give me a warm and fuzzy. So I don't really like this command of the sale thing. So, but again, it's probably very, very exceptional with some people and some instances with some products, right? So you just have that urgency, you have that product knowledge, you come with some bravado a little bit. You say, "I'm the guru. I know all of this. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to grab your hand and we're going to go." And so some people are very successful with this technique. The success of this methodology rests on the salesperson's understanding of what the prospect's hopes and desires are, and what do they hope to achieve? What do they want to create? How do they want to create value in their business? And how the rep's solution specifically can make good on those elements, right? How the prospect measures success, especially, and why the rep's business stands out from its competition. So there's a lot of aspects in here that I've run into this sales technique, and they've done it a little bit, in my opinion, incorrectly. So it's kind of one of those that you really have to study and put together before you implement. It's a very hard technique for me. And then your pitch on this has to be enough to warrant charging a premium. So this is for premium services or premium products. This is something that you need to command that they pay a premium on your products and services, right? And last but finally, and not least, I don't know what I just said. Last but not least, gap selling. Everybody knows what gap selling is. You figure out the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and you figure out, you are the sales representative, or the sales representative needs to figure out and bridge that gap. I like this technique. This is a fantastic technique because it highlights to the buyer or the prospect that there is a gap, one, between where they are and where they want to be. It may be a huge chasm, But what we want to do is we can build that bridge to that solution and that goal. And I believe that I've got the techniques to do that in people's businesses. And so I use this quite a bit. With gap selling, we like to put the prospects first. It is all about what gaps are in the prospects business. How can we achieve those bridges and get those goals achieved? We want to determine the best possible way to position their business or product or service in the most effective means for filling those gaps. We want to make sure that those are positioned correctly so that we can achieve those goals. And then we want to develop an understanding, and that means digging deep, right? So we want to make sure that we totally understand the problem and that we analyze and find the metrics and do all the measurements and things like that we can. And that's where I rely on the DMAIC system that we talked about yesterday. So guys, this is gap selling, gap analysis. You do a gap analysis for a company or a person. Hey, you say that you're sad all the time. You want to be a little bit, you want to just be normal human being. Well, this psychiatry will help you find the medication that's right for you, and you'll get the help that you need to feel better on a regular basis, right? So that's a gap, and they've bridged the gap with medication because they're psychiatrists, right? Perfect. All right, guys, let's talk about this 8-week business growth intensive. Pull this up. We've learned a lot today. But one of the things that we can learn even better is, putting all these things, these 12 days that we're doing of just value, putting value out into the air. We want to make sure that you are getting some kind of value out of it, because we also know that when you come into the 8-week business growth intensive, you're going to get tremendous value out of that as well. We are going to dig deep and actually specifically talk about what sales techniques should be in your business, what should be online, what should be everything like that, how we can expand the sales processes, say mix some of those and create a sales process that works for your prospects, because we've identified an ideal client, we have identified what they need, and we are going to target them, and then we're going to sell it to them using a combination of the techniques we went over today. We're going to create that personalized system for your business over this 8-week period. So we want to make sure that your sales processes are robust enough to take on whatever comes at them, right? So we want to have that online sales process. What are the processes online that if a customer goes to your website, wants to buy something, what is the process that they're led by on that, right? So 8 powerful weeks with us. We are going to do a business goals strategy session with you before the 8 weeks starts. We're going to do 8 weeks of 2 hours a week with 1 hour with me, 1 hour with Robert, and then we're going to do an hour and a half of masterminding with the 8 group members. The reason we're doing an hour and a half is we don't feel that we can fit everything into an hour with 8 people, and we're going to try to lead that and get that ironed out as best we can. But that time's just going to give us an extra time to talk to you about your business and figure out what's going on and how we can help. So 2 hours a week with us, 1.5 hours. That's 3.5 hours each week for 8 weeks that you are going to get exposure to either the other business owners or myself and Robert, who are business owners ourselves, and we are experts in what we do, right? Sales, operations, leadership, you name it. We've got the expertise. We've been doing this for a while. And then, we're going to also follow it up. So that DMAIC problem solving series includes that C at the end, and that's control. We want to control the measures and the implementation that we put into place, and make sure that that takes a foothold, grabs market share for you, grabs revenue for you, and helps your business grow in value. And if it starts to fail somewhere and it's a little bit uneasy, then we need to step in and get that taken care of. And that's what that 12 months is for. So you're not buying an 8-week series, you're buying a 12-month series of making sure that your business actually does what we planned and those goals stick. So we want to help you out for the entire year. And that's why we're including that 12-month membership into the Level Up Business Mastery Inner Circle. It's a mouthful, so we just say Inner Circle. So guys, let's generate some new revenue. Let's eliminate some doubt in your business by making your sales process more robust, your operations process more robust, and now you can take 10 times the amount of clients that you had yesterday without being in the panic zone, because everything is in line with your vision and your mission, and we're going towards your goals. Guys, I've had a really great time talking about the sales methodologies. I really love to learn about the background of things and how that really, what the implications are with business. And so I love having techniques. I would encourage you to go to Goodwill or a bookstore or anything and find this book. They usually have them in like Goodwill business books for cheap. I think I actually bought this one full price, but or maybe somebody gave me this. Do I have a signature in here? It doesn't matter, but yeah, I bought this. But yeah, so I would say pick up a copy of that book. Pick up, I believe Sandler's got some books out there. There's all kinds of stuff. One of the best lessons I found was Debbie Lechusa on udemy.com. And Debbie has a great course about selling your signature services. And that has absolutely, it takes a lot of these methodologies into account, but it helps out tremendously to take a Udemy course on sales and go through the thing and do that. Now, on top of that, we have a module, a course in the Inner Circle called Sales Titans. And so Robert is formulating that. I think he's done with it. But we've been just transferring some of our things that we already have built into that system. And so it's just an arduous process getting things done. But we're ready to go in that Inner Circle. So if you need more information, you need a specific course on sales, the Sales Titans course is absolutely free when you join the Level Up Inner Circle. So guys, meet with us, get a strategy session. I've been Corey Myers with Level Up Business Mastery, and I will see you later.